All right, XRP price update at 265. We're looking at the weekly first, and then we'll zoom into the daily, what we need to focus on for the rest of the week, closing out October, starting November. Still a blue chart, which is the highest grade I give, right? It's the A chart, right? That BNB, SUI, Toshi, ETH, Sol, Bitcoin. That's about it. Not a whole lot of others. TRX, and that's based just on the charts, right? Nothing else, no fundamentals or anything on social media. It's fundamentally the best charts are in the blue, and XRP is a part of that. Even with our weekly wick down to a low of 125, we tagged the 200 week where we last tagged right before our parabolic phase up here. But what else did we notice? Like range lows on all these wicks were previous range highs from last cycle. And we see this 1618 extension up here at around 650, 645 it says. Right? So to me, my opinion, anytime we get back to around the 350 to 650, right, that's for DCA sells, dollar cost averaging out of the market. Could we go higher? Sure, right? This whole zone would be like kind of the sell zone. Especially after that wick down there, I think you should be relatively happy getting out around 350 all the way up to 6. Like, how do you know? Well, you're just selling chunks. So we need something else to back that up. If we have a nice move, again, something like this, like what about the fib extension from, let's say, range highs in July to that range low wick? Well, $7 is that move. So maybe if you're a little bit more aggressive, you would kind of wait till $6 to $7 to sell a majority of it. But both of those combined tell me that that's about XRP's max for this cycle. Unless we last another year or longer, right? Sure. But assuming we're going to peak out here in the next handful of months, 2, 3, 4, right? Who knows? And XRP has another one of these streaks, right? That might take us to that wheelhouse. What else do we like is, well, it's like just looking at it from a fundamental point of view, like previous cycle range highs are now cycle range lows. That's excellent structure. We've been really sideways consolidating after this monumental move. Consolidation building up, refueling. If we can manage to close, zoom in here, above all these moving averages, the 14, the 8, and the 21, which is about 270, 275, and we can close above here, right? You can see these range lows, closes, and wicks are now kind of range highs. So this is kind of our, we don't want to hold this as resistance. That would show some weakness, especially after closing inside the weekly Gaussian channel for the first time, really since a year ago, right? We don't want to start to show weakness, but we're holding that 50 just like we did back here in April, held just above it again in June. We're still holding as closing above it. So that 50 week, get some actual numbers here in the green there. So as of this week, it's 235. As long as we can maintain closing above 235, that 50 week, then this zone is still in play for sure. If we start to hold this as resistance and then go lower, right, this is the new zone. Previous range highs, you certainly don't want to see closing under $2 again. That puts in lows and gives away all this consolidation for the past year would kind of go out the window. You'd be underneath the median Gaussian channel, which again, you're more bearish there by definition. But as of right now, we're still A-okay. We just don't want to see this kind of perfectly straight kind of flag, this bearish kind of move like this. That would kind of project down to these range lows, which could still be okay. If Bitcoin kind of goes back to low 100s, I could potentially see this happening. But this is the low where you would kind of assume the cycle's kind of over for XRP and maybe it's not going to have anything else, any more juice left. But until then, right, we know our cycle highs. This is your sell zone. Again, you want to sell going into resistance. You want to buy going into support. Anything else, you're just gambling. You want to increase your odds. This is your sell zone. If you get up in the $6, $7 area, don't be greedy. Smack yourself. All right, that's my vote. Not that what I say matters for anything, but there you go. My being here every day for 8 years says XRP's max is $6 to $7. Could it already be in? Sure. Could the highs already be in? Sure. I doubt it. I think Bitcoin, Ethereum, all the blue chips are going to new cycle highs and over the next couple of months. So if that's in, right, you want to ride XRP's next move. If it does that again, here's the level. All right, that's the weekly. So take a brief look at the daily, see if we have anything else to kind of worry about this week. Well, here's that zone. Underside, low support, low support, low support. High resistance. So far, we're battling. We got some work to do, but we're kind of rounding the bottom, right? Chainlink, we did a Chainlink video, looks very similar to this. How we just kind of started to turn a corner perhaps. But we don't want to reject here. Get above 275. If we could close that this week, that would be great. Close above 275 to end out October, and then we start to kind of get back to some strength possibilities. All right, that's XRP. 265, hoping for a little bit higher, 275.